The time has come. The middleweight championship, the undefeated hype train, Israel Adesanya, on the same track headed towards the other undefeated hype train, Paulo Costa, 13-0, only the second time in UFC history. I know this sounds crazy. This is only the second time in UFC history we've had two undefeateds in a UFC title fight. That other one being Lyoto Machida, Rashad Evans from 10 years ago at least. I can't wait for this fight. I'm getting serious legendary vibes. I think we're about to see an all-time classic. What do you guys say? Let's start this one off with DFS by the numbers. Who do you got in this crazy matchup for the 185-pound gold?
First of all, like what a fight this is, a fight I've been really looking forward to. And I see a lot of people really confident like either side, and I'm really struggling with this fight. I mean, you can't watch enough tape to be confident in one side here. I mean, I think Adesanya has all the advantages here. He's going to have an 8-inch reach advantage. He's going to be able to jab up Paulo Costa all day. It's just the power of Costa. It's really concerning. He goes on these flurries with the body. It looks like it hurts to say the least there, but I don't know. I'm going to go with Adesanya here. I think he should be the favorite. I just have a really, really weird feeling that Paulo Costa is going to knock him out. But if he does not knock him out in that first round and a half, 2 rounds, 3 rounds, I think Adesanya is definitely going to take over, get a late finish. I don't know if Paulo Costa is going to have the gas tank to really, go into the 4th and 5th round. Like with the pace he brings, he lands over 8 significant strikes per minute, which is a ton. And I don't know if he's able to keep that pace up throughout, all 5 rounds. So my pick's going to be Adesanya. I might take a small shot on Adesanya in the 4th or 5th round. I think he can, get a finish in one of those rounds. I don't really see Costa being able to last 25 minutes, especially with the pace he brings. I don't know if he has the cardio to do it, but very, very sketchy fight. I'm going to stay away. I'm going to sit back and watch it for the most part. I was tempted in betting Adesanya, but I just have a really, really bad feeling about this fight. But I will be playing it in all my DraftKings lineups, so hopefully it scores very well. So give me Adesanya. I'm going to say by a 5th round knockout.
Guru, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, man. We've been looking forward to this fight for a while, so I'm pretty excited. I mean, the buildup has been cool too. I mean, I think Paulo's won the buildup, man. I think he's been pretty funny, like when he at that the press conference where he was talking about Israel wearing like the same earrings as his mother and all that shit. I thought it was funny. But man, I mean, looking at the fight though, I do favor Israel actually. I mean, I feel like Costa, he's going to try to do his thing. Obviously, his path to victory is to close that distance, get on the inside, cut Izzy off, throw to the body, come up to the head, use that kick to cut off the cage. And he's really good, man. I mean, he's huge, so he's willing to take a lot of punishment. He's willing to eat a shot to take a shot. You saw it was interesting when he fought Uriah Hall. I mean, Uriah was piecing him up with the jab, and then Paulo just started timing Uriah Hall's jab with his jab and like landing at the exact same time. And you could just see like Paulo had more power, and it really affected Uriah. But I just feel like Israel is going to be a little bit more economical in this fight. Just move around, cut angles, touch him and move. And I think Paulo is going to have a lot of trouble cutting him off. And I also see, Paulo, he only has like 7.5 minutes of cardio, in my opinion. I mean, if you watch the fight with Yoel Romero, I do think he slowed down majorly in that fight. And even if you look at his fights like on The Ultimate Fighter, he, really slowed down in that fight as well, which was like a grappling heavy game plan. But I don't see him going in here going for takedowns. He has no takedown attempts in the UFC. And his wrestling, I mean, at least defensively hasn't been the best. I mean, he did look good against Yoel Romero, but he got taken down against Uriah Hall. He got taken down against Olawale Bangboche. So I don't know if his wrestling is high level enough to just bank on him being able to get a takedown, a control on top, or get a submission. But, I mean, I feel like Israel is just going to be able to move, do his thing, and win the fight that way. If he gets a finish, I'm not 100% sure. I do see him maybe getting a TKO. But I could also see it being a decision if Costa's just tough enough to last for the 5 rounds. But I just think Israel is just going to be a little bit too slick for him on the feet and just control the fight and win. So I'm going to go with Israel Adesanya here.
Good play. Cody Safdie, what do you think?
Yeah, honestly, I think that this is probably one of the closer fights on the card. I think it's evenly matched up. I would call it closer to a 50-50. The thing is that when you have somebody who's a star or perceived star, who somebody has a big fan base, let's say, he's got passionate fans. And that's exactly what I'm seeing here. I mean, if you say you're taking one side or the other, nobody comes in here and is like, oh, yeah, fair point. I think it's going to be close too, but I got this guy. They're like, guy's getting knocked out. Both sides. Hard. Izzy's knocking out Costa. Guarantee it. Then I got someone messaging me, Costa's knocking Izzy out. Take it to the bank. Yeah. It's like, listen, someone's losing the car this weekend. I don't know what side it is. It's just you got to think about it. Okay, let's just break it down in the style for sure. I think Israel Adesanya is the sharper, more technical guy. He's fought 5 rounds. He should be able to go 5 rounds. His fight with Kelvin Gastelum, there's a worry sign in that he's 2-2 going into the 5th with Kelvin Gastelum, a welterweight who's 5'9". What is Costa going to do this guy? Absolutely shred him apart. But the takeaway there is that even though it's 2-2 going into the 5th, that's championship material, man. He needs to pull it out in the 5th. And what does he do? He 10-8s Kelvin Gastelum in the 5th round. That's huge. That's heart of a champion. That's something we don't know out of Costa. Costa, we've seen him die going 3 rounds with Yoel Romero, but that's the kind of pace that we've never really seen Israel Adesanya have to do. I mean, his fight with Yoel Romero, there's no strikes that were exchanged. His fight with Robert Whittaker, it's done within 2, and Whittaker, you could definitely make an argument, just not the same guy in that fight, certainly. And then other performances, yeah. I mean, what's his best performance outside of that? He pieces up Brad Tavares. Didn't finish him 5 rounds. He beats Kelvin Gastelum in a fight. He dropped 2 rounds and got head kicked by 5'9" Kelvin Gastelum. So I understand he's a star. I understand that he's got a great personality. I understand that people love him, but I don't know what the rush is that he's going to absolutely kill Paulo Costa. I think he's the sharper, more technical guy. If this fight goes to 3, 4, and 5, then one's got to imagine if Costa's tired and he's got his hands down, he's going to get picked apart. The other thing is Costa's there all day for the jab. Yeah, we did see it in the Hall fight. They're exchanging jabs, and he's doing the more damage. But you see that the jab's an excellent path to victory. If you can just hit this guy and get out of dodge, sure. And Israel Adesanya can do that. Now, is Israel Adesanya chinny? I don't know. Never been knocked down in MMA. Yeah, he got knocked out by Alex Pereira in a kickboxing match, but like, Alex Pereira? You mean the greatest middleweight kickboxer of the last 5 years? Like what? That guy knocked him out? Okay, no big deal. Have you ever watched that fight? Izzy's going toe-to-toe with this guy. But now these are 4-ounce gloves. Like, again, you can make arguments both sides. My personal pick, I know these guys are both going Israel Adesanya. My personal pick is I am going Paulo Costa. I just got a feeling that he's big, he's strong. Him throwing the black belt, I don't know if that means anything. He does have a black belt. I wouldn't call him a legitimate black belt, but he's a black belt. He's got a better grappling game than Israel Adesanya, but he's effectively shot 1 takedown in his UFC career. 1 against Oluwole Bengbase, which he didn't complete, by the way. 0% takedowns, 1. It was half-hearted. Is this guy going to take Israel Adesanya? I don't know. But is it possible? Yeah. And is that a sign of Izzy that maybe we haven't seen necessarily? Sure. Could it happen? Sure. Could he land the punch? Sure. Could he actually have 3 rounds of cardio in the bank? Sure. Could Israel Adesanya just refuse to engage him and run away like he did against Yoel Romero? Sure. Could. I'm just going to take the plus money on this one. I'm going to take, is it dog or pass? I think there's a lot to like about Costa. I think there's a lot to like about Izzy. Please don't crucify me either way. But I think my official pick is I'm going to have to go against the grain here and take Paulo Costa.
I like it. Well, I tell you what, guys, it's been a long time coming, man. I've been waiting for this fight for so long. You know, this fight was supposed to happen a long time ago. We ended up having to get Yoel versus Costa. Then we ended up getting Yoel in there for Costa against Izzy. This is the one I've been waiting for this whole time. So I'm super hyped on this fight. And I got to tell you guys what, I like Israel Adesanya a lot in this matchup. I feel like Paulo Costa, stylistically, you know, just an always coming forward monster, just a barrage of strikes. I mean, he's not really a guy that we're seeing knock out people with one-punch power. If he's taking you out, it's more by TKO. You know, people feel that power, then they shell up against the cage, and Paulo Costa tees off 10, 15, 20 strikes. The referee can't let this giant monster keep beating this guy into the ground. They have to stop the fight. You know what I'm saying? It's just, for me, I feel like Israel Adesanya has the countering skills. I feel like he's going to have the movement. I feel like it's worth mentioning that we are in the bigger cage. Had this been a fight at the Apex, I think that would have been quite advantageous for Paulo Costa. But we're at the big cage here on Fight Island, and I think that's really good for Israel Adesanya. I think he's going to have the room to circle. I think he's going to have the ability to avoid the danger. He has eaten a lot of shots. I mean, when you look at the Kelvin Gastelum fight, man, he took a lot of damage. And at one point, you know, that was a very close fight going into the later rounds. And things got a little sketchy, but, you know, Izzy got it done, came on strong, had the cardio. For me, the big problem with Paulo Costa is I feel like if you're taking Costa, you probably need to be banking on the fact that Costa is going to knock Izzy out in the first or second round. I'm not sold on it, man. I feel like this fight's definitely going to go at least 3 rounds, and I feel like when it does, that's going to lean all advantage Israel Adesanya, the guy that's gone 5 rounds, the guy that's got 8 inches of reach, the guy that's going to be able to, in my opinion, stick to the outside. And I really feel like Israel's going to have to make a big strategic error to eat some of those clean Paulo shots. He knows he can't eat those big shots. They're just too much. This guy's too big. He's too strong. He's too powerful. I think Adesanya is going to have the proper game plan, the footwork. He's going to be able to dance around the cage. He's going to be able to tire Paulo out. And when he sees that shift, that moment where Paulo starts slowing down, the pace slow, Paulo starts taking those big, deep breaths, I think we're going to see Izzy step on the gas, really start peppering him up, potentially even finish the fight in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round. But if this fight goes to a decision, I just don't see any way where Paulo doesn't finish Israel, but I can see a multitude of ways where Israel just outpoints and beats Paulo on the scorecards. When I take all that into account, I got Israel Adesanya in this one. I feel good about it. I really do think we are looking at something special in Israel Adesanya. I expect him to win this fight, and I think he will be the champion for some time to come. Maybe I'm making this prediction a little too early, but I am very high on Israel Adesanya. I think he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest striker in UFC history, an absolute phenomenal counter striker. And like I said, I just feel like Paulo's always come forward style, always be throwing style, should play into Izzy's hands. He just needs to be careful not eat that big shot. And I think it's Izzy's fight to win. Don't get me wrong. Paulo absolutely can win this fight. And my goodness, if he does take Israel Adesanya out, who is going to stop this monster? I don't know. But all that being said, I do have Israel Adesanya. And I think I will. I think I'll cap him off at least one parlay with Israel Adesanya. I feel that confident in him. Would like to see a little bit closer number. I was hoping that more money would continue to roll in on Paulo. Maybe that happens up until the fight day, but it seems that Israel's kind of floated around this same area for a while now. But I feel good about it. I got Israel Adesanya, and that's it.